And we will terminate the Green New Scam and spend the trillions of unspent dollars on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt, $36 trillion. Not fake infrastructure that's caused massive inflation and no benefit. You know, a lot of the spending they did, this wasteful spending, is the thing that caused it. I think energy caused it, number one, what they did with energy, but I think that the spending was a big factor, too. I will settle the war in Ukraine before I even take office. I'll settle it as president-elect. I met with President Zelensky the other day. I know President Putin very well. I'll get it settled. I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III, something nobody else can say. And we will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Right now, it's under threat. It's under siege. It's horrible what's going on. If we lose the world's reserve currency, that's like losing a war, isn't it? That would be like losing a war, maybe worse in many ways. Then we would be a third world nation. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Joe Biden, Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. It's so important. We're going to make this country so good, and we're going to do it fast. The hardest thing we have to do is solve the crime problem. The crime problem is out of control. It was out of control before the migrant situation, but now it's crazy. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations. We will deliver low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, and everyone can afford, everyone's going to be able to afford groceries again, a car again, and a home. You can't afford cars. You can't afford homes. Interest rates have gone from 2% to 10%, but it's really much higher because at 10% you can't get any money, so it's obviously not 10%. They say 10%. I said you don't get the money, so you have to go higher. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our great police, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield, which we're entitled to, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and we will keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day we will be filled with opportunity and hope. We don't have opportunity. We don't have hope anymore in this country. There's no hope. Your kids, you have beautiful kids, and, you know, they don't even know what to do. There's no hope. We're gonna bring back spirit. You know, it's spirit is a word. But we're going to bring back spirit for our country again, and they're going to have lots of hope, and they're going to have that American dream back soon. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. You know, you can't call her Harris. Nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. I say Harris has been a horrible vice president. They said Harris. Let's see, Harris. Isn't it funny? The name just doesn't care, so we call her Kamala. But we'll defeat her, and we must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. She's a radical left lunatic. Remember, early mail-in voting is underway, so vote, vote, vote. You got to get going. And we want to make this election, you know the expression, too big to rig. Too big to rig. Because at a certain size, they can't do it. They're going to say, oh, geez, this is tougher than we thought. Because they have no shame. On November 5th, we will save our economy, we'll save our country. It will go down as the most important day in the history of our country. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. And we will put America first. We will put it first always. We will make America powerful again, wealthy again, healthy again, strong again, proud again, safe again, free again, and we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
in, right? Anyway, so we're gonna now have our cabinet meeting, and thank you all for being here.
Mr. President, how would you like Israel to respond to Iran?
That's an active discussion right now. We've got to get all the data straight. We've been in constant contact with the Israeli government and our counterparts, and that remains to be seen.
What is your message to Prime Minister Netanyahu, and have you spoken with him today?
I haven't spoken with him. We have spoken with all his people, and I'll be talking to him, and my message will depend on what we finally conclude is needed.
What do you believe the consequences for Iran should be?
That remains to be seen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, press. Please depart. The vote is over. The full tray is over. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 3 4.
So today, Iran launched approximately 200 ballistic missiles at Israel in a reckless and brazen attack. I condemn this attack unequivocally. I'm clear-eyed. Iran is a destabilizing, dangerous force in the Middle East, and today's attack on Israel only further demonstrates that fact. Earlier today, I was in the Situation Room with President Biden and our national security team as we monitored the attack in real time and ensured that the protection of U.S. personnel in the region is paramount. I fully support President Biden's order for the U.S. military to shoot down Iranian missiles targeting Israel, just as we did in April. We are still assessing the impact, but initial indications are that Israel, with our assistance, was able to defeat this attack. Our joint defenses have been effective, and this operation and successful cooperation saved many innocent lives. As I have said, I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself against Iran and Iran-backed terrorist militias. My commitment to the security of Israel is unwavering. And let us be clear, Iran is not only a threat to Israel, Iran is also a threat to American personnel in the region, American interests, and innocent civilians across the region who suffer at the hands of Iran-based and backed terrorist proxies. We will never hesitate to take whatever action is necessary to defend U.S. forces and interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. And we will continue to work with our allies and partners to disrupt Iran's aggressive behavior and hold them accountable. Thank you.
Madam Vice President, how do you prevent this from spilling over to
President Trump called this potentially part of World War III.
Should they retaliate?
a threat to American personnel in the region, American interests, and innocent civilians across the region who suffer at the hands of Iran-based and backed. So today, Iran launched approximately 200 ballistic missiles at Israel in a reckless and brazen attack. I condemn this attack unequivocally. I'm clear-eyed. Iran is a destabilizing, dangerous force in the Middle East, and today's attack on Israel only further demonstrates that fact. Earlier today, I was in the Situation Room with President Biden and our national security team as we monitored the attack in real time and ensured that the protection of U.S. personnel in the region is paramount. I fully support President Biden's order for the U.S. military to shoot down Iranian missiles targeting Israel, just as we did in April. We are still assessing the impact, but initial indications are that Israel, with our assistance, was able to defeat this attack. Our joint defenses have been effective, and this operation and successful cooperation saved many innocent lives. As I have said, I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend
program 40 minutes later. Still starting our poll. You guys. Thanks, Dave. Oh, you're getting an email? Huh. Well, are you 18? Yes. Okay. You know Scott Bauer? Sure. Wow. Oh, cool. Awesome. I've watched you film in Madison. Awesome.
And then he said the nicest guy in the world.
I wouldn't want to be. You sound just like a guy. I looked at this with you 3 times. Really? Oh, it's not a reporter. No. He's a videographer. Great guy. Yeah. Where are you from? Missouri. What else? Springfield area. I went to Missouri. You did? A lot of people. Bill Albert. Albert. A-L-B-E-R-T-R. 66 years ago, my ex was a TV talent. So she would walk back in my they knew they used to be, one block off the park. We were walking on 66. WABC studios, they did all the newscasts. But yeah, she walked, it was great. We were the, I think it's 12 brand new building. They built the Juilliard School behind the Granite building behind the former Lincoln Center. Face the Opera House. The main center found the Opera House. That's the Juilliard School. And then the black glass building right behind it. We lived in that.
Oh, really?
It was. Probably not, but it's still, I'm sure it's still way more than I am. I got about 4 more years, 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah.
One more campaign.
I won't have. Looks like that 1 in 50 that would get you out of call.
So they would probably recommend if you stick with your back to that curtain. If you just, or I mean, if you fake shot. No. Back, just so the mic isn't pointing at that speaker.
Oh, that speaker.
And you're going to get less of your.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program will begin momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile.
Good morning, and to those from not from here, welcome to Wisconsin. We got a beautiful day in Wisconsin. Before we begin, I just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with those in North Carolina and across the Southeast who are working to get their lives back on track following the flooding from the hurricane. Also, not only our thoughts and prayers, but also our support is with the people of Israel who are under assault right now from the regime of Iran. We need to make sure that we stand strong with our ally Israel. And for all of us, may we keep them in our thoughts and prayers throughout today and this evening. We're here today to talk about school choice. And let me tell you, I couldn't be more excited that President Trump is in Wisconsin and campaigning in two of the most blue areas of our state. He just left Dane County, Wisconsin, and now is coming into the city of Milwaukee. I'm excited that he's campaigning in the blue areas of our state because we as conservatives, we as Republicans, we as supporters of President Trump know that we have the answers to the challenges that our country faces, that our communities face, and in particular, blue cities across the country, the challenges that they face. This weekend, I was at the Hispanic Community Outreach Center for the Wisconsin GOP opening in Milwaukee. And I can't tell you how many people I talked to that are excited to vote for President Trump in 5 weeks. And in particular, we talked about a number of policies. We talked about how the Biden-Harris administration has driven inflation higher and it's made it harder for families to afford the things that they need. We talked about the impact that soft on crime policies are having on our nation's bluest cities, about how we have to be standing with the men and women of law enforcement and making sure that we're holding criminals accountable. We talked about national defense and about the importance of having a strong national defense to deter the aggression we've seen around the globe. And I can't tell you how many people I talked to, how many moms and dads I talked to about the importance of school choice. A policy championed by conservatives, championed by Republicans, championed by President Trump, And it's a policy that says moms and dads should have a choice to choose the school that's best for their child, to make sure that their child is in an environment where they can succeed. In Wisconsin, under Governor Tommy Thompson, who'll be joining us in just a little bit, Wisconsin founded school choice. And we have seen the positive results time and again is moms and dads have been able to choose a school that's best for their child. It's about letting parents decide what's best for their children. And as conservatives, we know that as we empower moms and dads, we help every child in our state succeed. The other day, I was involved in the appointment to the service academies. I recognized one young man who was at a choice school. And I look back and think whether or not that opportunity would have been there for him but for the choice school. And that's the case with so many young students that we talk to. We'll hear from two students today who are going to share their story about how choice schools have given them an opportunity that may not have been available to them if their moms and dads didn't make the choice to send them to the school that they went to. And the story of these children are the story of so many children across our state. And if in 5 weeks we elect President Trump, it can be the story of so many more children from sea to shining sea. I'm excited today that we have a group of advocates, a group of parents, a group of students who've been on the front lines of making sure that students receive the education that they deserve. And I want to begin today's program by introducing one of my good friends, Amy Loudenbeck. Amy Loudenbeck was in the State Assembly for a number of years, has been a strong supporter of school choice. Amy, will you share your story? Microphone, I think, if you want, or you can, either way.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the introduction, Congressman Stile. My name is Amy Loudenbeck, and I'm here to talk about the importance of education freedom and school choice and the stark contrast between the Trump-Vance ticket and the Harris-Walz ticket when it comes to the ability of families in Milwaukee and across Wisconsin to choose the school that best meets the needs of their child. We're here in Milwaukee, birthplace of the nation's first real parent choice program that provides scholarships on behalf of income-eligible families so they can attend a private school tuition-free. Lots of other forms of school choice exist in Wisconsin. Public-to-public open enrollment, tuition-free public charter schools for all, and homeschooling, to name a few. School choice is popular here, not just with participating families, but with regular people like me. Polling has proven over and over again that voters support school choice, education savings accounts, and other taxpayer-funded options to support student success. So I was stunned when I read the Biden-Harris United States Department of Education Secretary Miguel Cardona's public denouncement of school choice in his own words as published last month in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. And I wasn't the only one who was upset. Respected education leaders with deep roots in this city expressed disappointment in how the secretary politicized the issue of school choice. These leaders defended and applauded the commitment of private choice and charter schools to their students, families, and communities. Experts with a solid grasp on school choice and education policy in Wisconsin also pushed back, pointing out Secretary Cardona's misunderstanding and misrepresentation of the educational landscape here in Wisconsin. The Secretary's published remarks were irresponsible and insulting, but more importantly, they were a warning shot for every family in this city and in this state who doesn't want any kid to lose their school under a Harris-Walz administration. Consider this. Nearly 50% of students in Milwaukee are enrolled in a school that is not their neighborhood public school. Ask yourself, should kids continue to be able to go to a school of their choice where they feel safe, where they're learning, where they're happy? Or should they be forced to attend a school they have already rejected? Let me be clear, Wisconsin. Your vote this November will likely determine who will be the next president of the United States of America. And school choice is on the ballot. The future of education freedom and the future of these kids lies in your hands. The Harris-Walz ticket supports the education establishment for the masses, and only private schools for those who can afford the steep price of tuition. And the number of families that are feeling the pinch of this economy is only getting larger. As governor, Tim Walz opposed education savings accounts for Minnesota families. Harris and Walz think they know better than you, better than parents, better than state elected officials, Republican and Democrat, who support school choice in Wisconsin for all families. The Trump Vance ticket is committed to more education freedom for all families. President Trump wants families to have more options, not fewer. And he understands that state and local governments, including elected school boards, should be in charge of public education, not the federal government. Milwaukee, do not let partisan politics cloud your judgment this November. Please, do your homework, choose wisely, and cast your votes for the candidates who support school choice, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Amy, and you're exactly right. It's about providing moms and dads more opportunities so that they can select the school that's right for their child. Next up is Scarlett Johnson. Scarlett Johnson is a mother of 5 and a strong advocate for parents and for students, and has been involved in Moms for Liberty. Scarlett Johnson?
Hello. Having traveled the state of Wisconsin, I cannot overstate the concern that parents have for the well-being and the education of their children. I'm going to talk a little bit about Title IX and the effect that it's having on Wisconsin schools, and why school choice provides an off-ramp for parents who are just desperate for their kid to be in a school that's sane. These new Title IX regulations under the Biden-Harris administration erase women and girls, they compel speech, and they strip parents of their fundamental right to direct the upbringing of their children. The divide in Wisconsin, like in America, is not between right and left. It's between normal and crazy. You know, and that's really evident in education, because normal people just want their kids to be educated, to have the skills that they need in life to succeed and go to college and find a future career that fulfills them. Crazy people see classrooms as a place to recruit foot soldiers for a woke army. And if you don't believe me, you can come to a presentation. I always provide receipts, and there are many. I will just give you a few. Milwaukee Public Schools. They have conversations about gender diversity in 5K classrooms. This is a time where kids need to learn to read. They need to learn phonics. This is a really key period for a child. And instead of focusing on that, precious time in the classroom is wasted teaching kids these are pronouns. And I know for a fact that most Milwaukee parents do not agree with this. This is not what they signed up for. And instead, this kind of radical indoctrination and curriculum just kind of gets shoved down their throat, and they feel like they don't have a choice. Where else can they go? And school choice provides them an off-ramp from schools that are failing to do their job. In Sun Prairie, an 18-year-old boy goes into a shower room. There's four 14-year-old freshman girls, and exposes himself, exposes his genitalia to them, and says, "I'm trans, by the way." And you know what happens? Nothing. The parents aren't notified till a month later. The girls who feel victimized are silenced because they feel that if they say anything, they'll be labeled. They might be called a bigot or a transphobe. Eventually, when the girls have the courage to talk to administrators, the Title IX coordinator and the administrators do nothing but tell them if they would like to have a safe space, then they should go find another place to change, or maybe just skip showering altogether. This is wrong. Under the Biden-Harris administration, Title IX protections disappear as our daughters are exposed to traumatic and unsafe situations. This is why it is crucial that sane parents vote for a president who will restore Title IX to its intended purpose, protecting women and girls, on day one. We must do this to prevent what happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when a biological male was allowed to play on the high school volleyball team, despite the teammates reporting injuries and bruises, despite that they complained they didn't want to share a private changing space with the biological male. No, instead, those girls were told, as were their parents, that if they wanted a safe place, they would just have to go find a closet somewhere. And this is wrong. This is very wrong. I'm going to end with this because I think it's a really compelling story, and it's from the mouth of a middle school child in the Swallow School District. She had the courage to speak to her school board and advocate against the new Title IX rule. She looked up at her school board members and said, I know you guys think that you probably don't have to listen to a middle school girl, but you know what, she said, I'm on the student council. And I am here to protect the younger kids, the kids that are too afraid to say something. I have to be brave for them. She said she didn't want them to walk into a bathroom and see someone of the opposite sex. She said, that's not right. That's not how it's supposed to go. She ended, I know some people are like, there's no one way that things are supposed to go. But when you really think about it, there is. And she's right. As a parent, I'm deeply concerned that a potential Harris-Walz presidency would give way to the most anti-parent, extremist education policy that America has ever known. And the only off-ramp that parents will have is school choice, educational freedom. We have to fund kids, not systems. And President Trump agrees with that. Our kids go to public schools. They do not belong to them. It is time for Mama Bear David and to take on the Department of Education Goliath. We must use our voice and use our vote to fight for our children.
Scarlett, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing the perspective of how school choice and about how schools impact parents and children. Now we want to hear from students. And I want to start with Leah Lawrence. Leah, I asked Leah, who's a high school senior and a wrestler, and I said, Leah, what's your favorite subject? And she said, AP Chemistry. I thought, that tells you the exact kind of student I know that Leah is, if the answer is AP Chemistry. Leah, will you share your story about how school choice has impacted you?
Yes, I will. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, my name is Leah Lawrence. I am a senior at Wisconsin Lutheran High School, which is a choice school, and I'm honored and thankful to be here today and talk about this subject, school choice. Growing up, my family and I faced the challenge of finding a school that would give me the best opportunity to succeed. Thankfully, because of the school choice program, I was able to attend a school that truly fit my needs, academically, socially, and personally. School choice gave me the freedom to choose the path that worked best for me. And it's a freedom every child and family deserves. I stand here today incredibly grateful for this opportunity to attend a school where I could grow and learn without limits. Without school choice, I wouldn't have access to these resources, and I wouldn't have the environment that would help me achieve my goals. Now, as we look at this upcoming election, there's one candidate who has always supported school choice, President Trump. President Trump understands that education is the key to a bright future for every child, and that every family deserves the right to choose what's best for their children. He's the only candidate in this race who has consistently championed school choice, and he believes that no child should be held back by failing schools or limited opportunities. His dedication to expanding school choice gives families hope for a future where everyone can attend the school that's right for them. I'm glad that I was able, and I am able to continue in this program, and that I have found something that I want to do in my life thanks to these opportunities. Next year, I plan to attend university and study chemical engineering, my favorite subject being AP Chem, and hopefully wrestle as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Leah. Thanks for sharing the story of how school choice has impacted you in your ability to succeed. We had a great conversation with you and your mom about what can be done to put ourselves and moving in the right direction. Let me jump to Cynthia Dunlap. Cynthia is an 8th grade student in the Milwaukee area. And I was talking with Cynthia, and Cynthia was saying that she plays volleyball, she loves math, and then she buried the lead that she's the student council president at her school. Cynthia, will you share with us your journey?
Hello, I am Cynthia Dunlap, and I am an 8th grade student at Trinity. I'm here to tell you about the school I love, how it has impacted my life, and why I support school choice for all students. I switched schools at the start of 6th grade. I was really nervous about switching schools because I didn't know what it was going to be like. When I came to Trinity, the staff and students were welcoming. I instantly became friends with my classmates, and they made me feel comfortable. Trinity was also a lot different for me because we had theology class, which I never had at any of my other schools before. Trinity shares a love of God in everything they do. That's why I love Trinity so much. Trinity has given me so many opportunities that any other school has offered before. I'm involved in volleyball, cheer, and theater and student council. In volleyball, I've learned that when things get hard, I always can't give up. I have to keep going no matter what happens. Volleyball has also made me closer with classmates and kids in different grades. I've grown such a strong bond with them, and I'm happy to be a part of the volleyball team. In cheer, I've learned how to work with others in sports. Cheer has taught me that I have to trust others even if they aren't my friends or people I may talk to very often. In theater, I have been the stage manager for 3 productions. Being the stage manager has taught me a lot. I've learned how to be a trustworthy leader and a better understanding person. Trinity also offers choir. I have never had a choir class, so the opportunity of having a choir class amazes me. I have participated in 4 concerts here at Trinity, and I was given the opportunity to have a solo in our previous Christmas concert. Choir is such a big opportunity because I get to sing about Jesus and sing with some of my classmates. I'm also involved in student council. I have been in student council for 3 years. My first year I was 6th grade representative, my second year I was treasurer, and I am currently the president of the school. Being the president has given me a lot of trust and responsibility. To know that students here at Trinity are trusting me in every decision I make is really important to me. Being in sports and theater has prepared me to become a leader of the school. I am so thankful for this opportunity. I will not have these opportunities or blessings without school choice. People should do everything they can to support freedom of school choice for all families. Schools like Trinity give all students an opportunity to thrive and be their best. I hope that students can have the same great opportunities I've had. Thank you.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks for sharing your story. And you can tell with Cynthia and Leah, we have 2 great future leaders in this community in Wisconsin, and it's a product of what happens when we give school choice. That we're empowering moms and dads an opportunity to pick a school that's best for their children. And I think you can see with Leah and with Cynthia and how they're excelling based on the fact that they are the beneficiaries of school choice. We've heard from 2 students. We've heard from advocates, from moms. I want to go to a principal, a gentleman, Sam Seefeld, who served as principal for 6 years, is now executive director of a choice school just outside or in the Milwaukee area. Sam?
I'd like to start by thanking the president and his team for being in Milwaukee and for caring about education. My name is Dr. Sam Seefeld, and I'm the executive director at Trinity Lutheran School of Freistadt in Mequon, Wisconsin. Our school is the oldest private school in Wisconsin, or so we think, founded in 1839 by immigrants. Freistadt is German for free city. And that foundation of freedom has endured over the years. As our school jumped into the state's various choice programs, we did so first a few years back, welcoming Karenni refugee students from Myanmar. We did so again 4 years ago, joining the Special Needs Scholarship Program. Over the past 6 years, our school has grown more than 200%. And of all private schools, we now have the state's 9th largest special needs scholarship program. Our growth is first and foremost due to God's grace and goodness. He has seen this through with a strategic focus on culture. Our school is now one of the best in the area, with a culture unlike any other, and we invite anyone here tonight, including Mr. Trump or his opponent, to tour our wonderful school. My 2 oldest children, August and Elena, would not be able to afford Trinity without school choice. The goal of educational choice should be to provide families a wide range of choices that enable them to choose options that align with their family's values and faith, as well as with their children's passions and learning styles. For us, that's Trinity. In order to provide that access, the federal government should do what it can to return taxpayer dollars to the states, and by helping to create more access for kids at local levels. The money belongs in the backpack of each child, not in unnecessary federal programs or even departments. When it comes to these choices, the president should work to ensure that private schools are free to be as diverse as the children and families they serve. But this requires autonomy in the areas of curriculum, instruction, staffing, religious practices, etc. The government should not be interfering with curriculum. Instead, here's what the government needs to be focusing on. Number 1, trust parents to choose the best schools for their children. Ensure that the funding follows the students, regardless of the type of school they attend. Number 2, ensure educational freedom for all. 3, offer private schools, and for that matter, local education agencies, autonomy, especially in choosing curriculum and methods of instruction. And 4, eliminate excessive regulation, programs, or even departments that waste taxpayer dollars. It is my hope that all children can one day have a full and unfettered access to the school of their choice. That accountability may ultimately be placed in the hands of the taxpayer by the direction of their own dollars in the backpack of their child. Thank you, and may God bless our nation's children and their families.
Sam, thank you very much. I think what you heard today was the importance of empowering parents to make a choice to pick a school that's best for their child. I appreciate all of our panelists being with us. Today, the panelists are going to remain. The president will be here momentarily, and we'll be right back with you. Thank you.
I just want y'all to know that. And tonight, let's enjoy life. Pitbull, Naya, Neo, that's right.
I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything
Hands to the night, cause tomorrow I'm off to do battle, perform for a princess. But tonight, I can make you my queen and make love to you endless. It's insane the way the name growing, money keep flowing. Hustlers moving silent, so I'm tiptoeing. So keep blowing, I got it locked up like Lindsay Lohan. Put it on my life, baby. I make it feel right, baby. Can't promise tomorrow, but I promise tonight. Excuse me, and I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. Cause we might not get tomorrow.
I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight.
Reach for the stars, and if you don't grab them, release up on top of the world. Think about it, cause if you slip, I'm gonna fall on top of your girl. When I'm involved with the deeper than the Masons, baby, and it ain't no secret. My family's from Cuba, but I'm an American. I don't get money like secrets. Put it on my life, baby. I make it feel right, baby. Can't promise tomorrow, but I promise tonight. Excuse me, and I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. Cause we might not get tomorrow.
I want all of you tonight. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight. Give me everything tonight.
And I might drink a little more than I should tonight. And I might take you home with me if I could tonight. And baby, I'ma make you feel so good tonight. Cause we might not get tomorrow.
Yeah, you can be the greatest, you can be the best, you can be the King Kong banging on your chest.
You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you will find yourself
Standing in the Hall of Fame. And the world's gonna know your name. Cause you burn with the first flame.
champions, be truth seekers, be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers, yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions. Standing in the Hall of Fame, and the world's gonna know your name. There's a man with the cross red, and the world's gonna know your name. You're the ones of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion, you can be the best. You can be a champion, you know your chest. You can be a champion, you can be the war. You can be a champion, you know the world. You can be a champion, you can be the clock. You can be a champion, you can break locks. You can be a champion, you can break luck. Then you be a champion, you can stay.
Much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, now honey, I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kisses, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like I love you should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine. I chew my nails down and I twiddle my thumb. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby. It drives me crazy. It's just great balls of fire.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Congressman Brian Stile.
Are you excited President Donald Trump's in Wisconsin? It is exciting. President Donald Trump is in our state campaigning in two historically Democratic communities. He was over in Dane County and had a huge turnout of people waiting to get into the event. And now we're here in Milwaukee, our state's largest city, talking about how conservative policies can get our country back on track. So many people have suffered under 4 years of the Biden-Harris administration, in particular in our state's bluest city. And when we think about the impact that the broken border is having here in Milwaukee and is having in Dane County, flowing fentanyl in, people that don't feel safe in their communities, when we think about the impact that inflation has had in our nation's bluest communities and our state's bluest communities here in Dane County and in the city of Milwaukee, where people can't afford the things that they need, and we think about the opportunity to give children a choice to choose the school that's best for them, to give moms and dads an opportunity to choose the school that's best for their child. And we know as conservatives, as Republicans, as Trump supporters, we have an opportunity to go and earn every vote across our state. Let me tell you, I think it's a huge opportunity to make sure we win the state of Wisconsin for President Donald Trump. I now want to introduce my good friend. President Donald Trump's really good at identifying strong leaders. And there's nobody stronger than Governor Tommy Thompson. Governor Tommy Thompson led our state and was the pioneer of school choice. Please join me in giving a big welcome to our Governor, Tommy Thompson.
Congressman, thank you as always. Do a great job. Looking forward to the election so you get reelected by even bigger margins. Congratulations to all of you. It's a great day in Wisconsin. Donald Trump called me and asked me, how do I carry Wisconsin? And I said, you run and you won 4 times, Tommy. You should know how to win. And I said, follow my lead, Mr. President. You got to go into southwestern Wisconsin. On Saturday, it was in Prairie du Chien. An overwhelming crowd. So many people that they could not get all the people in. Thousands were left outside. Then I said to the president, you've got to come into Dane County. There hasn't been a presidential candidate in Dane County since 1996 when Bob Dole ran for president. Republicans stay away. And I says, we have to go and we have to contest every vote in the state of Wisconsin. And if you go to southwestern Wisconsin, you go to Dane County with a rally and go into Milwaukee County, we are going to win Wisconsin. We just left Wanakee. It had a huge crowd. All the way from the airport to the factory where we had the police, there were people standing along the roads waving Trump signs in Dane County. Can you imagine how upset the Democrats are to have that kind of a turnout in Dane County? Thousands of people were flying the American flag, yelling Trump, Trump, Trump. And tonight, we're in Milwaukee. We just landed, and I wanted to tell the president how important school choice is. It gives people hope. It gives them a chance. It gives them the ability to get a good education. The president, Donald Trump, wants that for every boy and girl in the United States. When I was governor, I was reading the Sunday paper, and I saw on the front page of the Milwaukee Journal that 70% of young black males dropped out of school before they graduated. And all I could think of was that means that we're going to have more young individuals in our prison system. And so I came over to Milwaukee and spent 2 weeks over here all over the city of Milwaukee talking to parents. And they told me, he says, Governor, Tommy, we got a school right down the block, but it's a religious school, and we cannot send our son or daughter there. If I could send them down to that school, I could go and watch and make sure they learn, make sure they do their assignments. Instead, we're being bussed out to Brookfield. And I then sat down with the ministers and the bishops of the black churches. And I said, I want to do something really dramatic. I want to improve the quality of education for every student in the city of Milwaukee. And they give us the opportunity to go to religious schools. Give us a chance to make a choice. And I went back and I thought about that. And I talked to Polly Williams, a black legislator from Milwaukee, and convinced her to work with me and develop the first choice program in the United States. We went all the way up to the Supreme Court and we won. And now choice is all over the state of Wisconsin, in sectarian and non-sectarian schools. We're in 37 states and growing every year. And every Democrat, just about, that's a governor, a U.S. senator, member of Congress, vice president of the United States today, president of the United States today, are opposed to it. They do not want to give that young boy and girl an opportunity to be able to allow their parents and them to choose the school that's the best for them. That's why I am so proud and so happy to have Donald J. Trump come over here today and talk about educational quality, his belief in education, and the opportunity to spread choice across the United States. So every young man and woman, boy and girl, is going to have the same opportunity to choose the best school for them to be able to get the education and graduate. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great day for Wisconsin, because we're going to carry Wisconsin for Donald Trump. And it is going to be a great day because Donald Trump is going to talk to you about his beliefs, his opportunities, and his views and vision for education. I give you the next president of the United States, the 45th and 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be here. We're working very hard in this state. We're leading in the state. And with Tommy's help, we're going to win this state, and with everyone else's help also, we're going to win it. We won it once. We had great primaries here, and we think we did really fantastically another time. But we think we're going to win it very big. There's tremendous enthusiasm. We've never had the enthusiasm that we have right now. So I just want to thank Governor Thompson, and thanks as well to Congressman Brian Stile. Thank you very much, Brian, for the job. Appreciate it. And everyone else for being here today. It's a very impressive looking group of media. This is largely a press conference. This is a big press conference. I was surprised they got that much hand. I don't know, was the press, were they clapping? Because I was very impressive. No, I was impressed, actually. But no, a lot of respect. We have to be together. Before we begin, I want to send our love to the millions of people who are still suffering from the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Yesterday I was in Georgia to survey the terrible damage from the storm. It was terrible. And Georgia was hit very, very hard. They're doing a great job. Governor's doing a great job. Everybody, they're all working together. And we helped them out a little bit. In North Carolina, the biggest problem seems to be like zero communication. The poles are all down. The wires are all down. And they asked me whether or not I could help with Starlink. It's another genius concept of Elon Musk. And I called Elon, and they were having a hard time getting it. It's a hot thing. And Elon immediately got involved. And we have the most incredible that they did in one day. They got tremendous communication. They went from literally no communication to tremendous. So I want to thank Elon Musk for what he's done in North Carolina. A little bit help in Georgia too. We had some areas that had a hard time with communication. He hooked it up to the satellites, which he feels very confident in doing. He likes satellites, he likes rocket ships, satellites, and there's nobody better. He's something. He's a piece of work, I'll tell you. But he had it done in about 15 seconds. He said, look, it goes right up to the satellite. It's already back down. And they had so much, they had such great communication so rapidly. It's incredible, actually. And the situation in western North Carolina is very catastrophic, very bad. And they don't even realize the extent of it yet. A lot of people are missing. But we're going to be working with them, with North Carolina. Great people, great state. And we're working very hard with them to make sure that that it works out as well as it can. Amazingly, this is one of the biggest hurricanes anyone's ever seen. It's late in the season, very unusual. I guess the water was 20 feet high, and nobody expects that. People go up to their house and they think they're safe on the second floor, and they weren't safe. This was one of they call it the waterfalls. This was one of the biggest they've ever seen. So it's too bad. Very late in the season, too. You almost don't even think of it as hurricane season. Our hearts break for every family that has lost a home, and they've lost so much. They've lost everything in many cases. A lot of people don't have insurance, and we have to come together as neighbors and friends and fellow citizens to support those in need, and there's a lot of those in need right now. Unfortunately, I look forward to being back in North Carolina and Georgia very soon, and also Tennessee and Alabama. We had some big damage, but North Carolina was really hit. So we're going to work with them very hard and hopefully help them. We're here today to talk about how we're going to rescue American families from the nightmare of the Harris-Biden administration and launch a new generation of golden age for America. You know what's going on with the schools in our country. Not a good situation. Since Kamala Harris cast the deciding votes on the bills that caused the worst inflation in American history by far, by the way. Higher prices have cost the typical American family over $29,000, and you're continuing to pay $1,100 every single month, more than you were doing before. Nobody can afford that. Even if you get a salary increase, it's nothing compared to the kind of numbers you're talking about. Inflation is devastation. Inflation is country busting. It breaks countries. Look at Germany from centuries ago. Look at other countries, whether it's centuries ago or decades ago. Any country that goes through inflation, and we went through a really bad period. We're the worst in our history. 8.4 million Americans are now working second jobs, the highest in more than 38 years. And you now have to make $111,000 a year. That's a lot of money to afford an average home, a 46% increase since when I was president, so it's 46% higher. And that's not even including the cost of interest, because interest went from 2% to 11%. And you can't get the money at 11%, so it's not 11, it's a lot higher than that. With her colossal big government negotiations, Kamala Harris, who destroyed San Francisco and destroyed California. San Francisco was the best city in the country 18, 19 years ago. Bob Tisch, a friend of mine from Lowe's, many of you know Bob Tisch, he said it was the best city in the country. He was a businessman that had holdings all over. He said San Francisco was the best. He wouldn't believe it. He passed away a number of years ago, but he wouldn't believe what's happened to it. And he's also added an estimated $6,300 a year in regulatory costs onto the backs of every American family. So Kamala Harris has done this, and she's done it at a level like nobody's ever seen, with the help of Joe Biden. But I'm not sure Joe was involved, because I'm not sure he was involved in anything, to be honest with you. Now Kamala is coming back for more. So she ruins San Francisco. She ruins the state of California. And now she's coming back to destroy the United States of America, but we're not going to let it happen. As you know, she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor who nobody has spoken to. I'd love to talk to him. I would be interested in talking to him, actually. But we can't let this happen. We were way up on Biden, 21 points up on Biden after the debate. And they had a coup. They told him, you're not going to run. And he's not a happy man. He's pretending he's happy, but they took him out. He had 14 million votes. She had no votes. She was the first one that got broken in the primaries. She never made it to Iowa. She was the first one out, and now she's running. The whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense. She had many people that did much better. They had 22 people running, and she was the first one out. She went in, and she went out because people didn't like her. She wasn't good. And now she's the one that's representing the party, and the press gives her a free pass. And that's a little ridiculous, isn't it? Huh? But also never happened where we spent over $100 million on fighting Joe Biden, and then all of a sudden we're fighting somebody else. That's like a fight. The fighter's doing badly, and you say, okay, let's take him out and give somebody else a chance to win in the middle of the fight. So Kamala's plan is projected to raise the typical family's taxes by $2,600. And the tax queen, you know, they called her the tax queen in California because she liked taxes. I've never seen anyone win a race where they raise taxes all the time, but she liked taxes. This is definitely a unique election anyway. The tax queen also wants the largest small business tax hike in history and a 33% tax hike on American small businesses, which will send consumer prices skyrocketing. You think they're bad now. If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will crush family budgets with crippling energy costs thanks to her Green New Scam. The Green New Scam is one of the greatest, most difficult things to be watching.
Now going from structure to structure, tonight the story of one couple swept away by a wall of water. Rescuers now looking for one man's fiancée. Also tonight, the disturbing new accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, an attorney coming forward, claiming to represent 120 alleged victims. There is a massive manhunt underway at this hour for an escaped prisoner who's being described as violent and dangerous. The news tonight on breast cancer, the alarm...
By 1/16 of an inch over the next 400 years. They don't talk about it anymore. Something's happened. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's not selling too well anymore. They call it now climate change because global warming wasn't working because the planet's actually gotten a little bit cooler recently. But climate change covers everything. It can rain, it can be dry, it can be hot, it can be cold. Climate change, everything is. Look, and I believe I really am an environmentalist. I've gotten environmental awards, but I want clean, beautiful air and clean, beautiful water. That's all, crystal clean water. And we want clean air. And, you know, during the last 2 years of my administration, we had the best on record. And we had a lot of drill, baby drill. We had a lot of drilling, but we had the best on record. My plan will cut energy prices in half. Within 12 months, we're going to have energy prices for businesses, but in my opinion, maybe even more importantly for the average household, I said by 12 months from January 20th, which is the day we go into office, I hope we have a country left because what's going on now is very dangerous. I've been talking about World War III. What's going on now between Russia, Ukraine, and the Middle East blowing up all over the place. It's a very dangerous time, most dangerous time since the end of World War II, without even question. But my plan will cut energy prices in half. I'm going to knock it out 50%, all. This is for families and businesses and everything. And with the artificial intelligence, as you know, and shocking. But you need more energy to make that competitive with China and some others, but primarily China. They're going wild now. They're building tremendous electric capacity, as you know. But you need more electricity. They have to create tremendous amounts of electricity in order to compete, and more than we have right now for the whole country. So you have to more than double up what we have right now to be competitive. And we'll be able to do that. I'll be able to do that. They won't be able to do it. You have to make sure your environmental impact statements get approved very quickly. Otherwise, you'll never be able to compete. They don't do environmental impact statements in China, to the best of my knowledge. They have one man say, yeah, you can build it, and that's the end of that. That was the environmental impact statement. We have to go through sometimes years of things, but all of that's going to be rapidly expedited. It's going to save you thousands of dollars on gasoline and home heating and air conditioning and electricity. We're going to be down for the entire energy package. You will be down by a minimum of 50% 1 year after January 20th. Nobody else will say that, but I can do that because we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country. And I know how to use it. We had it going so well, and now we're buying oil from Venezuela and lots of other places that we shouldn't be buying. I call it Venezuelan tar because essentially it's tar. You know, they have the places that they hone it and develop it is right in the middle of Houston, right in the middle of Houston. We have a refinery that only does that oil. It's the only one in the world that does that oil because it's not oil, it's tar. And if you're an environmentalist and you like Texas, because I love Texas, we just got a poll from Texas. We're through the roof in Texas, which I love because I think it's an incredible place. But if you're an environmental person, the tar and all of the other things coming out of those chimneys and in that wonderful place, it's the only place in the entire world that does Venezuelan, I call it Venezuelan tar. But there's no reason for us to be doing it because we have more oil and gas. We have more, I say liquid gold, because I think it's the best expression. We have more liquid gold than Russia, Saudi Arabia, any other country in the world, and we don't even use it. And ours is pure. Perhaps worst of all, Kamala's mass migrant invasion will destroy our economy, importing tens of millions of, think of it, more illegal aliens than we've ever even thought about taking in. And for me to watch her the other night standing up at a television set saying, with a news conference saying how she's going to all of a sudden get involved at the border. Well, she was the border czar. She did a horrible job. She allowed 21 million plus people to come in, and many of them, and you've heard me say this many times, they came from prisons and jails. They came from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they came from terrorist camps where they trained them to come into the United States, and they come into the United States. Many, many terrorists. We have more terrorists come into the United States in the last 3 years than we have had in the last 30 years. And these are the real terrorists. These are the real ones. We have no idea who they are. They let them come in, just open borders, just the dumbest thing I've ever seen, other than if you're trying to sign them up to vote, which is what they're trying to do. Kamala grants them all amnesty, and she's promised that it will obliterate. She promised them that they're going into Medicare and Social Security. And if they go into Medicare and Social Security, then she's going to kill Medicare and Social Security. And we're not going to let her do that. And I didn't let anything happen to either of them during my 4 years. We didn't raise the age for Social Security. They're going to end up raising it by 6 or 7 years. If they get in. With 4 more years of Kamala, you'll have a 1929 style depression. That's sort of the ultimate depression. 1929 was the worst. You don't get worse than that. And it took 25 years to recover, frankly. You know, people say, oh, we recovered with Roosevelt. No, it took 25 years to recover from it. And it was tremendous pain and suffering. And that's going to happen again. And I've been very good at predicting things. The hat says Trump was right about everything. And it wasn't even my hat. I didn't even do it. But Somebody had made a lot of money. Trump was right about everything. But when I win, the next Trump economic boom begins the moment the polls close in Wisconsin on November 5th. And again, Brian and Tommy and all of the people that have been so great here, we're seeing numbers that a lot of people have never seen, real numbers that a lot of people haven't seen, especially as Republicans. They haven't seen because they want to have our country back. They don't want to have millions of people pouring in that are criminals, that are murderers. Think of it. We had 13, and these are numbers that were never announced because they never wanted to do that. They never really talked about these numbers. They've never done it in many years, but they did here. And I think somebody at, whether it's Border Patrol or Justice, but somebody said it has to be done. It was announced just before she went to the microphone to say that she was going to do a good job at the border. And a lot of people were saying, well, why hasn't she done it in 4 years? Why are you doing a good job now? She's done a horrible job, even where they tried to give it a little bit of a kick 2 months ago, 3 months ago, so they could look a little bit better for the election. They didn't say that they're flying thousands of people over, and those numbers aren't included, or the app, where they have an app that's being used by the cartel leaders, the people that are making billions of dollars. The cartel leaders, think of this, call the app, and they say where to drop the illegal migrants. This is done under their administration. It's nobody's ever seen anything like it. But they said they closed the border, but they didn't say that airplanes are flying over with hundreds of thousands of migrants, dropping them all over the place. And I'll tell you what, the people in these towns are scared. They're scared. Even if they haven't arrived there yet, they're scared. When you take a look at what's happening in Ohio, Springfield, where you have a town of 50,000 people, that's beautiful. It's safe, a great place, idyllic, actually. And now they've, in a short period of time, dropped 32,000 people there. And some of those people are pretty tough people. And the mayor of the town, I don't know him, but he seems like a nice man, but he doesn't want to talk anything. He doesn't want to say anything bad. He wants to be politically correct. And all he says is we're trying to get interpreters because none of the people, virtually none of them, speak English. So he's looking for interpreters when he should be looking for people to take them home, because this country cannot sustain what's happening to it. We can't sustain hundreds of thousands of people coming in a month, or more importantly, in a short period of time, 21 million plus. We have no idea what it is. You have gotaways. Nobody has any idea, if you include the gotaways, what the number. We can't even really say, you know, with other countries like China, you say it's 1.4 billion. With India, you say it's 1.5 billion. They're big. With us, you don't really know what the number is. You say, how many do we have? Is it 320? Is it 325? Is it 350? Nobody knows. If you go to government agencies, say how many people are in our country, they have no idea. Well, we're going to have an idea very soon. Under my leadership, real median household income rose by $7,684, and that's before the pandemic. And even after the pandemic, the annual income was up $6,400. We did a great job in the pandemic, never got the credit we deserved, but we did an amazing job. Operation Warp Speed is being studied by many, many schools, both militarily and business-wise. Operation Warp Speed, even my greatest enemies, they say, what a job that was. That was a job like nobody else has ever done. And it's ripped the world apart. Every country got ripped apart, including China. China was delayed, but it was hit harder proportionally probably than almost any country. It was a terrible time. Probably $60 trillion in damage, and caused by the Wuhan lab. I said that from the beginning. It came out of Wuhan. And the Wuhan lab, it wasn't from bats in a cave that was 2,000 miles away. It wasn't from Italy. It wasn't from France. They blamed everybody. It's really the China virus. But we did a great job with the ventilators, with the masks and the gowns and everything. You know, when we got here, our cupboards, I used to say our cupboards were bare. We had nothing. No president put anything in for a pandemic, and I don't blame him. Who would have thought? I thought it was sort of an ancient thing. It wouldn't happen now, so it wasn't, something that I ever mentioned very much. I didn't blame other presidents, but they didn't put anything into it. So we had the cupboards were bare, and all of a sudden we heard there's something coming from China, and terrible. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We gave you the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country and the biggest regulation cuts by far in the biggest, all by far in the history of our country, and rebuilt our military, but a lot of that, not relatively speaking maybe, but a big chunk went to Afghanistan, where they're one of the biggest sellers of military equipment now in the world. And what I say is the most embarrassing moment in the history of the United States, that we took the soldiers out first. You're supposed to take the soldiers out last. A child would know that. I brought a child up to the dais once, and I gave him the facts in front of a very big crowd of maybe 10,000 people, maybe more. I gave him the facts. I said, so would you take the military out first or last? He said, I take the military out last, sir. He was 5 years old. I said, how old are you? He said, 5. A lot of you saw that. As president, I will deliver gigantic tax cuts for working families, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And that's a very big thing, but especially the last one for our seniors, because they've been decimated. Young people have too, but they've been decimated, seniors, on their fixed incomes. But nobody's ever been hurt more, nobody has been hurt more than seniors with respect to inflation. Inflation has just absolutely destroyed seniors. So I'm giving them no tax on Social Security benefits, and that'll make up for some of it. This was all created by Biden and Harris, although nobody knows, when I say Harris, nobody knows who I'm talking about. So Kamala. And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates of 10%, because those rates are going up to 22, 24, 26%. And it's not sustainable. It's not fair. So it'll be temporary, but we have to help people. They can't pay those rates. We're going to unleash American energy, drive the prices way down. We're going to stop the people from pouring into our border. We're going to have a mass deportation of criminals. We have to get the criminals out of our country. They're not going to help us. Again, you had 13,000, more than 13,000, to be exact, 13,099. These are murderers. These are murderers that have murdered in many cases, about 30% of the cases, more than one person. And in some cases, more than 5 people. These are real murderers. These make our bad people look like